Oh, hello. As promised yesterday, you are today in my video where I will review every single new tactical objective provided in the upcoming Kill Team card pack that we talked about. Well, it's what we've been talking about yesterday, we talked about it the day before, and damn it, we're talking about it again. So, first, a reminder, some of this stuff I went over yesterday, some of which I didn't. So, Tac Ops now, just to reiterate, the standard rule, which I think everybody will play, each player secretly selects 3 Tac Ops. They can select up to one of their faction Tac Ops. All of their remaining Tac Ops must be selected from one of their archetypes. Players only reveal each Tac Op when it specifies. They do not have to reveal which archetype they're using until they reveal one of its Tac Ops. So, as we're going through these decks, remember that you're picking 2 to 3 from this deck, and that will change how we think about the decks, because before there might have been a deck like, oh, this deck has 1 Tac Op in that I really like, but it has 3 or 4 that I really hate, so therefore it's a bad deck. Whereas now, if you can find 2 that you like, or in the case of I think it's just Kroot and Star Striders that have ways to pick from multiple decks. Potentially, if there's 1 Tac Op that you like, you can choose to have that specific Tac Op. So it changes our way of thinking about things. Now, I want to touch on these. I didn't even feature these in the last video because I genuinely view them as totally irrelevant. Maybe that's a hot take. So included in the upcoming Critical Ops card pack, there is this little 2-page section of the leaflet that says, here are some alternative methods for determining Tac Ops. Random. Each player shuffles a deck of 27 Tac Ops cards, all archetypes and faction Tac Ops, and they draw 2 cards from the deck. Select one, discard the other. They repeat this process until 3 Tac Ops cards have been selected. So you can just draw from the deck at random, a bit chaotic. Then there's Constructed Random, which is what we were all previously playing, where you build a deck of 6 Tac Op cards, shuffle it, up to 3 can be your faction Tac Ops. The remaining can be from one of your archetypes. You draw 2 cards, select one, discard the other, and repeat until you've got 3 Tac Ops. So that's just the new name, Constructed Random, for the old classic format. Free selection, you just pick 3 Tac Ops from the whole thing, the whole 27 cards. Acquired, the players use 1 deck of 27 Tac Ops. They shuffle the deck and deal out 6 in a row. The attacker selects 1 Tac Op from the row and then adds a random Tac Op from the deck to the row. The defender does the same. The players repeat this process until they have 3 Tac Ops each. With this method, Tac Ops aren't secret. You know, that could be interesting in a sense, but I don't see anybody playing with any of these rules. Let me know in the comments if you think I'm wrong. But and then we've got bid. Each player collects 10 tokens they will use to bid on archetype and Tac Ops. They will first bid on the archetype, with the winner deciding which one archetype both players will use for the battle. Thereafter, the players randomly pair Tac Ops from that archetype and bid for each pair. The winner of each bid selects 1 Tac Op from the pair, and the loser has the other. With this method, Tac Ops aren't secret. To bid, each player secretly puts any of their tokens into their hand as their bid, or 0 as they wish, and then reveal their bid simultaneously. The player that bids the most wins. If it's a draw, the bid is cancelled, and the players bid again unless they both bid 0, in which case the players roll off to determine who wins. Once the bid is resolved, both players discard their bid token. When I'm not playing war games, or video games, I do dabble in board games. Now, I like big, flashy, licensed board games with lots of dice because I am a person of low culture. I've got friends who are into kind of really, how to put this, really robust and mechanically sound board games that always seem to be absolutely the most turgidly themed things that you can imagine. And this just reminds me of some kind of mechanic from a game about, like, who can buy the most efficient power plants and therefore have the most power plant point. Like, I want to play Kill Team. We got, hopefully, we get our game of Kill Team done in 90 minutes, right? Why, especially in conjunction with the other bid rule, like, I don't want this, and I would go as far as to say I don't understand the mindset of somebody who does want this, because it's not there for the casual gamer that just wants to get on with gaming. It's not there for the match play gamer that just wants to go to the tournament and have every game as a practice tournament game and, play by the most correct rules. It's there for the gamer that just wishes they were playing some kind of European bud game. Anyway, let's get into what you're here for, which is going through the Tac Ops. So we're going to start with security. Security. Why? I spent ages getting this microphone right, and it's just not in the right place. Yes, better-ish. I'm still having to lean awkwardly. Oh, I should cut this out, but I won't. Right, security. So, seize ground. You must reveal this Tac Op. So, sorry, just in case it's unclear, we've got the new ones here on the left and the old ones here on the right. Security. Seize ground. You must reveal this Tac Op in the target reveal step of the first turning points. Select one terrain feature that's more than blue from your drop zone and includes any parts with the heavy trait. At the end of the battle, if friendly operatives control that terrain feature, you score 1 VP. If you achieve the first condition and there are no enemy operatives within black of that terrain feature, and its total APL of friendly operatives you control it is 4 or more, you score 1 VP. Friendly operatives control the terrain feature if the total APL of friendly operatives within black of it is greater than that of enemy operatives. This is exactly the same. They've changed the wording, but it has the same effect. So seize ground. Let's color code this for our convenience. Seize ground is totally unchanged. Okay, so they are the same. Hold them back. So now we are looking over here. You can reveal this Tac Op in the target reveal step of any turning point after the first. At the end of any turning point, if there are no enemy operatives wholly within your territory, you score 1 VP. If you achieve the first condition at the end of any subsequent turning point, you score 1 VP. So this is kind of similar to Hold the Line, but they've made it more difficult. Right? So Hold the Line used to be, if there are no operatives in red of your drop zone, this is now always your table half. So you've got to try and keep people out of your table half. So this is new and kind of annoying, right? I don't. It's not recommended. Yeah. I wouldn't suggest this one for anybody. Okay. Central control. What's happened here? You can reveal this Tac Op in the target reveal step of any turning point after the first. Ooh, hang on. Central control used to be able to be revealed in the target reveal step of any turning point. So now central control can't be revealed in turning point 1. Okay. At the end of any turning point, if the total APL of friendly operatives within blue of the central kill zone and not on a vantage point is greater than that of enemy operatives, you score 1 VP. So you now can't be on a vantage point. So that's new. You score 1 VP. If you achieve it again in a subsequent turning point, you score 1 VP. Mostly, we're pretty unchanged so far. Okay. Right. Protect assets. You can reveal Tac Op in the reveal step of any turning point. At the end of any turning point, if 2 or more enemy operatives are incapacitated within circle of an objective marker during this turning point, you score 1 VP. If you achieve the first condition at the end of any subsequent turning point, you score 1 VP. It's the same. I still hate it. I've never liked I've never liked protect assets, but it's there. It's identical. It's fine. Okay. Security Tac Op escort operative. You can reveal this Tac Op in the target reveal step of your first or second turning point. Select one friendly operative at the end of the battle. If that friendly operative is wholly within your opponent's territory, you score 1 VP. If that friendly operative is within red of your opponent's kill zone edge, you score 1 VP. So this is new. you can kind of regard it as being similar to Plant Banner, but less kind of annoying, right? In that you don't have to actually go down and drop the banner and do the thing. So it's kind of, I guess we'll colour it in orange. It's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like an evolution of Plant Banner, right? Yeah, it's that's kind of what's happened. It's okay. I think the first VP is pretty easy to score, right? And end the game with somebody in your opponent's table half. Yeah, sure. I like it better than Plant Manor. Secure centre line. So, this is new. So, damage limitation is gone, right? So, damage limitation is totally gone. And we've got secure centre line instead. Yeah, which is a totally new tac op. Let's get that in there. Woo. You can reveal this tac op in the target reveal step of any turning point after the first. At the end of any turning point, if the total APL of friendly operatives on the centre line and not on a vantage point is greater than that of enemy operatives, you score 1 VP. If you achieve the first condition at the end of any subsequent turning points, you score 1 VP. Interesting. Second. So, they haven't nerfed security. I actually think they've buffed security. Which might be a hot take, but let's just look at this. So, Seize Ground is the same as it was, right? And that was already very powerful. Hold them back is harder than hold the line, so that bit is a nerf. And central control has been slightly nerfed, but it's still pretty easy to score. I think we've got another pretty easy to score one in secure centre line. Protect assets is the same, but it was always annoying. And escort operative is easier than Plant Banner used to be. So I think if you want to play the dog pile in the centre kind of strategy, you know, you've still got here, you've got central control, you've got seize ground, and you've now got secure centre line, which I think are all very doable tac ops for a lot of teams. And you could just take those three. And if you've got a piece of heavy terrain in the middle of the board, literally you could take those three, and they could basically be I'm going to dogpile in the middle, like I'm going to my entire team and just into the middle of the board. Now there's a fair chance your opponent's going to be trying to do exactly the same thing, and you get the mosh pit scenario, and you're going to have to weigh that up as to whether you think you can win a sort of everybody plows into the middle mosh pit. I don't really rate protect assets unless if you're playing into somebody that's very numerous and very squashy. Maybe you take protect assets. I tend to be playing the 10-man team rather than the 6-man team, so I don't like protect assets. Hold them back, I think, is really bad. I would never take it. Escort operative, yes. If you reveal it in the second turning, you never reveal it in the first turning point. You reveal it in the second turning point. You select a friendly operative, and your opponent then just has to kill that operative. So I think it's too hard to score. So I think if you're picking this, you're picking central control, seize ground, and secure centre line, and then potentially you're swapping one of those for your for a faction tac op, right? But certainly think central control, seize ground, and secure centre line are worth taking. Some people might choose to take protect assets if they're an elite team, say playing into a very weak, very numerous team. Right, let's look at infiltration. Infiltration. So, stalk target. You can reveal this tac op in the target reveal step of any turning point. Once you do so, at the end of each target reveal step, select one enemy operative to be stalked from that turning point. Hang on. So you reveal it, any turning point. When you do, at the end of target reveal, you select an enemy operative to stalk. At the end of any turning point, if a friendly operative with a conceal order is within blue, but not within engagement range of the enemy operative you selected to be stalked at that turning point, you score 1 VP. If you achieve the first condition at the end of any subsequent turn, you score 1 VP. So first of all, this is totally new. This is nothing like any of the other... It's nothing like any of the other ones from the old Infiltration deck. I think it's quite difficult to do. I'm sure there are some. I think I've said this before. I'm sure there are some teams with some operatives that can just do this with their special abilities, you know. But by and large, I think this is a difficult one to do. I've really messed myself up with this microphone rig somehow today. Yeah. Does my arm usually go this way? No. I don't know. But yeah. Infiltration. You can reveal this tac up in the target reveal step of any turning point. At the end of any turning point, if you control an opponent's barricade. Okay, cool. You score 1 VP. If you achieve the first condition at the end of any subsequent turning points, you score 1 VP. You control a barricade in the total APL of friendly operatives, then black of it is greater than that of any operatives. So again, this is totally new. There was nothing about seizing barricades in the old Infiltration deck. This is pretty good. It punishes your opponent for just kind of throwing their barricades down to kind of block and disrupt and get in the way, you know? It makes it so that your barricades are something that you want to protect and keep possession of because you fear this will come up. I quite like that, although, you know, you are still trying to capture an objective that your opponent's placed. So once people get used to the fact this is in their game and they factor that into their thinking, unless you're going to completely roll them, it could be quite difficult to score. Gather Surveillance. You can reveal this tac op in the target reveal step at any turning point. Once you do so, at the end of each target reveal step, select one friendly operative to gather surveillance of that turning point. At the end of any turning point, if the friendly operative you selected to gather surveillance of that turning point has a conceal order, is within your opponent's territory, and is more than blue from any operatives, you get a VP. And if you do it again, you get another VP. I like that. Yeah. It's kind of between upload viral code and behind enemy lines, right? It's basically the evolution of behind enemy lines. Is it? Yeah. But you have to name the particular operative. So it's basically, it's behind enemy lines, but it's slightly nerfed. Isn't it? Because for behind enemy lines, it's any of your operatives. If any of your operatives get in there, then you can score that one. Because behind enemy lines is if one or more friendly operatives are wholly within your opponent's drop zone and more than blue from any operatives. Whereas in Gather Surveillance, you have to have named a particular operative who is your surveillance gatherer. So we'll take that one. That one is basically our nerfed version or our changed version of behind enemy lines. Implant. You can reveal this tac op when a friendly operative would strike an enemy operative in combat. Instead of inflicting damage on an enemy operative from that strike, you can implant the operative. The operative does not lose any wounds from that strike and you score 1 VP. If two other enemy operatives... Yeah, this is exactly the same text then. So let's go ahead and code that one yellow. So implant has survived unchanged. Infiltration. Reveal this tac op in the target reveal step of the third or fourth turning point. At the end of the third turning point, if friendly operatives control an objective marker in your opponent's territory and not on the centre line, you score 1 VP. At the end of the fourth turning point, if friendly operatives control an objective marker in your opponent's territory and not on the centre line, you score 1 VP. So this is new, first of all, and some kill teams will find this, you know, if you're a very aggressive, push-forward kind of kill team, you might find that quite easy to do. It kind of just rewards you for playing the game. Yeah, I like that. And finally, we got update install device. Sorry, reveal this tac op in the target reveal reveal this tac op when a friendly operative performs the activation. Oh, okay, cool. So you don't have to reveal it until you do it. You can do it before you've revealed it. That's pretty cool. So you can do the install device action for 1 AP. You can perform the action while you control objective marker in your opponent's territory or on the center line. Plant your device on the objective marker. Remove it if an enemy operative controls the objective marker. An operative cannot perform the action if your device token is in the kill zone. So you reveal it, you install the device. At the end of the turning point, if your device has been in the kill zone for the whole turning point, you score 1 VP. If you achieve it at the end of a subsequent turning point, you score 1 VP. So you've got to get this down in turning point 2 so that you can score it in turn 3 and turn 4. But, yeah, I mean, it seems reasonably straightforward because you want to be on objectives. However, there is that limitation that it has to be an objective in their deployment zone or in the center. I think a lot of these are going to push to things to being a big mosh pit in the center if we're not careful. But yeah, this deck, obviously, the biggest thing I'm seeing here is this deck is far more changed as compared to security. So if we go back here, we see security, really only 1 brand new, 2 exactly the same, and 3 slight changes. Whereas here we're seeing 4 that are pretty well brand new, 1 identical and 1 slight change. So rather than nerf security, it looks like what they're trying to do is to bring the other 3 decks into parity with security. So a big buff for Infiltration. I think teams that have Infiltration will now have a better time with it. We've got rid of a lot of really difficult ones. What would I pick? If I had to pick Infiltration and I was picking 3, what would I pick? I mean, it's quite matchup dependent. I might be tempted to try and pick Install Device and Subversive Control and Gather Surveillance, right? And really push. With this team, you want to push really aggressively into their territory, almost, overextend out of your territory. You push. I think if you're playing that kind of team that wants to do that, then you will do quite well with this deck. Yeah, siege defenses can be okay, but I think once people know how to play it, then maybe they'll make that difficult for you. Implant, it was okay before, but now I think it's been outplayed. It's gone from being one of the more scoreable ones in the deck to being probably the most annoying one in the deck. And Stalk Target, I just think it's too fiddly compared to the other 4 there. So, yeah, I would go for Gather Surveillance, Vertical Control, and Install Device, excuse me. So in a second we'll move on to the next deck. Okay, Recon deck. Hopefully nobody noticed the pause while I adjusted what the heck was going wrong with my microphone arm that was really annoying me. Production quality is my watchword after all. So, the Recon deck. Surge forwards. You can reveal this tac op in the target reveals death of any turning point. At the end of any turning point, if the total APL of friendly operatives within red of your opponent's drop zone is 4 or more, you score 1 VP. If you achieve the first action at the end of any subsequent turning points, you score 1 VP. I think this is new, right? Am I right? I'm quickly scanning over the ones over here. I think this is new. I don't know that I like it, but I'm going to highlight it yellow. And then we'll talk about it a bit at the end of the section. Courier. You can reveal this tac op in the target reveals stuff at any turning point. When you do so, select 1 friendly operative. At the end of any turning point, if that operative is within red of your opponent's drop zone, you score 1 VP. Yes. If you achieve the condition at the end of any subsequent turning point, you score 1 VP. They really are. Like the last deck, I thought the theme of the Infiltration deck was getting to your opponent's table half. Seems like the theme of the Recon deck is also largely getting to your opponent's table half. Outflank. You can reveal this tac op in the target reveals death of any turning point. At the end of any turning point, if friendly operatives control both neutral kill zone edges, you score 1 VP. If you achieve the first condition at the end of any subsequent turning point, you score 1 VP. Friendly operatives control a neutral kill zone edge. If the total APL of friendly operatives within blue of it is greater than that of enemy operatives, operatives within red of their own drop zone cannot contribute their APL when determining. It's easy. It's all about forcing you forward, isn't it? When determining this total, I suppose in the grand scheme of things, that's probably reasonably easy to score, and it's another new one. So these are all new. These should all have been coloured in green because they're all brand new. Secure Vantage. So Secure Vantage is at least an evolution of Vantage. And I think this one has been talked about a lot. So for Secure Vantage, you used to have to perform this action for 2 AP to secure a vantage point. Now you just have to secure it. You just have to control it by being on it greater than that of enemy operatives. Now, I think this is an uncomplicated buff, right? Because you no longer have to do a 2 AP action to hold it. You just have to be there. It has been argued by others, though, that the nice thing about the old Vantage was that you could go up. If you're playing Corsairs hate this change. So Corsairs could go up and score it and then leave, right? But yeah, at the end of any turning point, you control a vantage point if that is more than blue from your drop zone. You score 1 VP. You control it if you have more APL on it than enemy. If you do it again, you get a second VP. I think it's easier, but perhaps not. Recover item. You must reveal this tac op in the target reveal step of the first turning point. Place one of your item tokens within your opponent's territory. The pickup action can be performed by friendly operatives, but not enemy operatives upon your item token. At the end of any turning point, a friendly operative controls your item token, you score 1 VP. If you achieve the first condition at the end of any subsequent turning points, you score 1 VP. This is quite good, because this now has been made easier, right? Insofar as... so this is obviously the same as retrieval, or it's an evolution on retrieval, right? But this has been made easier. For all other things have been made harder. It used to be you had to be within blue of your opponent's drop zone. Now it's always anywhere in their table half. So that's quite, especially, so I'm thinking, I play Star Striders, I'm thinking about the dog, who has benefits to go to pick things up. Crews also have a dog. Like, you can put something just off the centre line, off on a flank somewhere, and send your dog to go and get it, and they will have to, at the very least, devote time and forces to guarding that and killing a dog. No, I quite like that as a thing. I think the Recon deck is looking strong. Recon Tac Ops Plant Transponder. So this looks similar to Plant Signal Beacon. You can reveal it in any turning point after the first. If the friendly operative performs the Plant Transponder mission action, you score 1 VP. Plant Transponder. Any operative can perform this action while wholly within your opponent's territory. More than circle from terrain features. Barricades are terrain features. Ignore insignificant terrain features. Hang on. In your opponent's territory, more than circle from terrain features, including barricades. Okay. If it does so, place a transponder token underneath the operative as close as possible to the center of its base. An operative can't perform the action while engaged in range of an enemy. If you perform it, you score a VP. If you perform it again, you score a second VP. So this is like Plant Signal Beacon, but it's much easier in that you don't have to wait until the end of the turn. You do have to plant 2 transponders, but there's no of them coming to kill your transponder. What do I like in terms of ease of secure? I'd probably take Recover Item, Secure Vantage, and Outflank. I think those are the 3 that are coming off the page to me. But again, I think this is fairly balanced. I obviously prefer things that don't require you to delve deeply into enemy territory. I find that's pretty difficult with most teams. Obviously, certain teams like Harlequins don't have a problem with it, but I think a lot of teams find that quite difficult. So I quite like the Recon deck, though. I think that's more than Infiltration. Recon for me is giving security a run for its money. You can do Vantage, you can do Recover Item, and you can do Outflank. Because for me, I value being able to, you know, if you've got guys on the sides, and if you've got guys going to get a little item that you've chosen where you put, and if you've got guys going up on random vantage points, you've got different little things popping up all around the table that your opponent has to react to. So to me, that seems easier than just saying, I'm just going to pile everyone into the middle, and then chances are they're piling everyone into the middle, and there's probably a primary objective in the middle, and it all just becomes who can blow each other up better. You know, who's got the most brute force. With these options, yeah, I think that's quite good, in that you could take out flank, advantage, and recover, and you could be moving all around the battlefield and make it difficult for your opponents to track you down. I kind of am less interested in surge forward, courier, and plant transponder, which all require you to be up in your opponent's board half doing things. Yeah. And finally, seek and destroy. So route. So I'm guessing if it follows the same pattern, route will be unchanged, right? So route, you can reveal this attack on the target reveal step of any turning point. If an enemy operative is incapacitated by a friendly operative, and that friendly operative is within red of your opponent's drop zone, when it does so, you score 1 VP. If you achieve it in a subsequent turning point, you score 1 VP. So it's exactly the same as it used to be. That was route down here. Rob and ransack. I'm guessing this is going to be the same as well. You can reveal this attack op when an enemy operative is incapacitated by a friendly operative within its engagement range, and that friendly operative is more than blue from other enemy operatives. You score 1 VP. Yeah, within its engagement range. So no, they've tightened the wording up, but they haven't actually changed anything. It is still Rob and ransack, so that's still just Rob and ransack. Headhunter, has this changed? Reveal when the enemy leader is incapacitated, you score 1 VP. Yeah, that's fine. That's done. That's the same as that always was. Assassinate target. You reveal this attack on the target reveal step of the first turning point. Your opponent selects one of their operatives. Oh, I hate it whenever your opponent selects one of their operatives. If the operative is incapacitated, you score 2 at the end of the battle. If the operative has not been incapacitated but has fewer than half its wounds, you score 1. That seems to be totally new, but I don't like it. Eliminate guards. You can reveal this attack op in the target reveal step of any turning point. Once you do so, at the end of the target reveal step, select an objective marker on the center line or within your opponent's territory, and one enemy operative within circle of it to be the guard for the turning point. If the enemy operative you selected to be the guard for the turning point is incapacitated, you score 1 VP. If you do it again, you score another VP. You know, I like that because it's rewarding you for completing a core thing in the game, which is to kill someone that's that is holding an objective. Chances are your opponent's going to be holding an objective, and it gives you an opportunity to just kill what, you know. Compare that to where is it? Protect assets, which requires you to kill 2 or more enemy operatives within circle objective in a single turning point. This requires you to kill operatives within circle and objective point, but you can do one to get 1 VP. And yeah, you have to say, I'm going for that guy, and give them the chance to move it off. But at least that gives you the bonus then. If they move somebody off an objective, that has other benefits. Executioner. You can reveal this attack with target reveal step any turning point. When you do so, select one friendly operative to be your executioner. At the end of the target reveal step, select one enemy operative to be executed for the turning point. If the enemy operative you selected to be executed for the turning point is incapacitated by your executioner during that same turning point, you score 1 VP. If you achieve the action during the subsequent turning point, you score 1 VP. This is my least favourite deck. I'm going to go on straight out and say it. I like the new Eliminate Guards tac op, but I think they've kept too many kind of rubbish ones that were hard to score anyway. If I was forced to take Seek and Destroy because they were the only deck I had available to me, I would definitely be taking Eliminate Guards, Rob and Ransack, and Executioner maybe. But I don't like the deck, so that's my least favourite deck. So I think that's the worst. If I think Recon is the best, Security is second best, and Infiltration is in the middle. That's basically what I think. I could be totally wrong. What do you think? What are your final thoughts? Do you have any standout favourites, early doors, things that you can't wait to try? Are there any of the old Tac Ops that were old staples of yours that you're really going to miss? Do you agree with me? I think balance has definitely been improved. It's definitely no longer a no-brainer for security. I don't even necessarily think security is the best. I think Recon is probably the best deck. Recon is the best, followed by security, followed by infiltration, followed by seek and destroy, in my opinion. And what do you think about the thing of picking your Tac Ops freely? It certainly does change the way we think about the decks. I am pretty neutral towards it. I don't think it's a brilliant change, but I don't think it's a terrible change. It seems a bit like a change for change's sake to me, but it's something they've changed. It's fine. I'll roll with it. I don't want to be countercultural and say we're not doing that. I want to embrace all the changes that Games Workshop have given us and try them out. So that's where I am. If you've enjoyed the video and the run through, sorry I'm a bit low energy today. I feel a bit kind of really tired for some reason. Not sure why. If you've enjoyed the video, please do give it a like and a thumbs up and a comment and a subscribe, and consider becoming a channel member. There's a membership button down there somewhere. There's a video that will play for you just for clicking the button, so go and check that out as well. Thank you, everybody. I hope you have a great evening, and cheerio.